1 year ago today, we introduced the world to Grace City Online. If we were to be honest with you, it was rather reluctantly. Prior to the pandemic, we had no interest in live streaming our services or providing virtual worship experiences. We've always been a community that has valued our weekly rhythms of in-person gatherings, whether that was through Sunday worship, midweek life group, or other informal times of fellowship. We've never sought to market our church as one that has the most vibrant or compelling worship, or the most engaging or thought-provoking sermons and classes, mediums that work well on virtual platforms. Since day one, our bread and butter has been the idea of family and that we're better together. And seemingly overnight, our church family had to embrace the odd world of church online. Some good friends at Eastside Baptist in Springfield opened up their doors to us and allowed us to record worship sets, sermons, and Kid City classes. For 10 weeks, we operated out of a youth room in another church with no choice but to jump into the virtual church world that we had avoided for so long. On Sunday, March 22nd, we all headed to www.gracecityeugene.com and tuned in for our first online worship service, and God blessed it. Despite the unusual, unlikely, and as we too often said, unprecedented times, our community rallied together for worship, prayer, and small groups on virtual platforms. Eventually, we were able to open the doors again and provide a socially distanced and mask-enforced service. We bought a streaming camera with a silly name and continued the online options for those who were not ready to join us in person. And here we are, 1 year later. Our streaming continues to improve. More church members have returned to in-person services, and we continue to fight on to be a family, even though it takes more effort and intentionality than it ever did before. This is a great story, and it's far from over. Over the past few weeks, we have all individually and collectively been reflecting on the stories, circumstances, and situations that we've faced over the past 12 months. And as we reflect on our stories as a church family, it's important to us that we put God in His proper place. When we needed a place to set up and record services, classes, and announcements, God blessed us through a relationship that had been developing between Pastor Chris and the leadership team at Eastside Baptist for several years. When we were in need of space, God moved in our friends' heart to open their doors and partner with us for that season of transition. When we needed advice and assistance with tools and technology, our friends at Joy Church were a reliable source of wisdom and expertise, and they continue to be that for us to this day. God has used the broader church in Eugene to bless us immensely over the past year. During our time online, God showed us the power of unity. Even though we were unable to see one another face to face, God sustained our family and provided us with joy, peace, and comfort as we sought to remain together. God was faithful and united us through the challenges we faced and empowered us to be the people of God, just as He promises to do in the Scriptures. We caught up, we laughed and cried, we played games, and we told stories as we fought to figure out how to remain in community in the new environment we found ourselves in, and God blessed our family through these times. When the doors opened for us to gather in person at the Youth for Christ building, God moved in a church member's heart to help us purchase the streaming camera we needed when we hadn't had the opportunity to budget or prepare to acquire one. We knew that it was a priority to provide an online version of our service to our family, and God blessed us and provided a way for us to be able to do so. God moved in the hearts of our church members to serve and lead our community, helping out in hospitality, music, media, Kid City, prayer, and so much more. God has used the diverse talents and strengths of our community to bless our family and to continue becoming the church that God has made us to be. When experts predicted that churches should prepare for less tithes, God moved in our church members' hearts to give more and to continue to faithfully invest in the kingdom of God expanding through our church. God has done amazing things over the past year. When we have had a need, He has provided a solution. When we have needed direction, He has provided guidance. And when we have needed each other, God has strengthened this community and unified us. In 1 Samuel 7, after the Lord miraculously provided for the Israelites in an intense moment of need, their leader Samuel established a monument out of rock and said, "Thus far, the Lord has helped us." May we always be a community that looks back at our story, because when we do, we see that so far, the Lord has helped us. Our testimonies will provide faith and encouragement for our own hearts and for others to be able to see and hear of the faithfulness of God. So let's remember our stories and let's tell of God's amazing work in our lives.